There's also several authors, books being published, where we see that authority, as they say, is going to be increasingly expressed in an algorithmic way. So for example, the Black Box Society, the book by Frank Pascal, he makes that claim very strong. Authority is going to be algorithmic. So what does that mean for our businesses? So I just want to show you a slide now, how innovation usually works when we start using innovation and how it transfers the way we run our organization. So if it's true that we're going to be submitting more and more to machine, our dependence increases on AI, our mindsets will change. What we'll see is that the mindsets, meaning our decision makers, we will comply with the fact that it's becoming more and more automated. We'll see, like, first of all, we use the innovation and we replicate. So robots, algorithms enter in the decision-making phase. We replicate humans, jobs are disappearing. Then the next phase is usually we scale up. So it becomes in every layer of the whole organization. And once that has become an issue, then there's a new system. And in this case, it may be, if we have algorithmic decision-making across every layer, it may be, yes, AI may become our new boss. And if AI becomes our new boss, there'll be new norms of working. There'll be new expectations. There'll be a different mindset of how we make decisions, for what reason, and what will be the role of humans. So this would be a trajectory that could happen when we submit. So this is something that made me think a lot in the last few years, and I decided to write a book on it called Leadership by Algorithm: Who Leads and Who Follows in the AI Era. So I also have my own story, of course, in this book. It's about 25 years ago, when I was a very young scholar still. I was confronted with several people at a big business event, and they were always expressing how important it was to push the limits, to be successful. So I was listening in awe, and at one point I asked the question and said, like, but if you keep pushing the limits, I mean, at one point it may go wrong. And they said, no, science and technology will always be there. I have complete faith in this. So I started thinking, and when I was writing this book, it came back to me, and I thought, like, oh, well, actually these guys, they were very dependent on technology. They were willing to be dependent on technology in order to be successful themselves. But they still thought they were in charge. But of course, we have this kind of technology now that you can become dependent on it. And maybe today, our senior leaders, our executives are not that confident anymore. And I see this in my own classrooms as well. So when I teach for executives, I always have senior leaders coming up to me saying, but professor, why do I invest in learning soft skills? Why do I still take care of certain things that I feel automation can do? Plus, I'm actually afraid of my job as well. The ones in charge are afraid of my job. Shouldn't I become a coder? Usually when someone's close to 50, yes, you can, as a hobby, you can try to understand, at least that you understand where you make decisions. But becoming a full-time coder, changing your profession at that point, it's not a smart idea. And actually, you don't need to either. Because all the experience you've had in pursuing strategies, creating value, having a business plan are still needed to make sure AI is the appropriate position within the company. So it really, all these thoughts, all these experiences really motivated me to start writing this book and what actually will be the future when it comes down to running our organizations. And it's not just a reflective work like Financial Times said about my book. It's really something that we see happening in real time. So if we look at what does leadership mean? Leadership usually means that we have the person who fits best with the requirements of the situation that we're confronted with. So what kind of situations are usually out there? Well, situations today are very fast moving. They're very volatile. They're uncertain. There's complexity. There's a lot of ambiguity. And this is what we call the VUCA world, V-U-C-A. Things are moving fast. It's uncertain. We have to try to make sense of it. And you can already see who fits very well with that kind of description. Yes, it is AI. AI works in consistent ways, it's rational, works much faster and more accurate at the same time. So Could it be that AI, because of its fit with these situational demands, will move into the role of a leader? What we'll see is that who follows will always decide who will be the leader. And in this case, as humans, we are very good followers at the moment when it comes down to AI. Look, why do we want AI? Oh, it's reducing costs. It's going to make it more efficient. It's going to optimize our prediction models. Hopefully, over time, we will create more value. We'll create a more perfect working organization, perfect working nation or society. So in a way, we're putting ourselves in a follower role. There's research that shows like, okay, if something can satisfy your needs, you become much more attached to it, even addicted to it, because it affects your reward circuits in your brain. Think about your smartphone. Technology has that impact. All of us are on our smartphones all the time. Once you get bored, you look at your smartphone. You start working on your smartphone. So in a way, AI seems to have, or AI-enabled technologies moving into decision-making roles will have that appeal. And the business model of tomorrow may be this, where we follow an AI, it ultimately will lead because of the requirements that we need in terms of the situations that we face. And think about it. In a way, we already have it.